Record, and then I'll press share. Got a little bit of a nerdy call for you today. Um, we're talking about carbs and fats. All right, so healthy fats and smart carbs for our hormones, our hunger, our health, and for a hotter metabolism. That was just a little bit catchy. Oh, did I get another win in chat? Hit a new low on the scale. Lowest I've been in a decade. That's fucking huge. Congrats. I love that. Wow, that was so good. Okay, cool. So we're talking about carbs and fats today. Really getting into, I think we're all kind of at the point where we're not demonizing any of our macros, where we're kind of understanding them. But I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that, so that maybe with each of these, with the carbs and the fats, you can just take it one step further in terms of improving your nutrition. Because you do a really good job macro wise, you do a really good job calorie wise. We do a really good job at understanding what food is better for us, what food is not necessarily the best for us. But again, how can we continue to take that to the next level? So we'll start off with healthy fats. All right, just a little bit of knowledge and things that you can look out for. So fats getting a bad reputation. Um, this was something that I fell into everything. I wouldn't say what I fell into because I did it all. But fats being bad, or like people think, I guess it's because the word fats, people think it's going to make me fat, but not really correlated. We understand that, right? So where that fats are bad and keeping everything low carb, what was happening is that one, people were just noticing when you're avoiding fats or when you're getting low fat options, you're probably getting the low calorie options, right? So instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm losing weight because I got the low fat options, it's actually the opposite. Well, no, that's not the opposite, but that's not really what the source is. You just decreased your calories. And something that is happening in some products that you should be aware of is if it says low fat, obviously look at the calories as well. But sometimes, like the low fat option, the regular options, actually aren't much different calorie wise because the low fat option just has more carbs and more sugar in it. So that's something to be very aware of. When we see anything like low fat or you see it as like just labeled as something, get curious because sometimes, cool, you're labeled as this, no sugar, and then you're put either like there's a bunch of ingredients that maybe you don't want in your system. So always get curious when you're looking at new products. So the importance of our fats. So one, it's going to be it provides us with energy. Everybody right now doing kind of like nothing but staring at me and just like watching is running mostly on fats. So this is your non-exercise activity. When you think, when you move, when you laugh, when you kind of go about the day to day, when you just survive, you're running off of mostly fats. All right. Also, this is good for your heart health. This will help you control inflammation, keep your joints lubricated for joint health, mental health, bone health, cholesterol levels, and your hormone health. A lot of mostly what I see on social media, I don't know what you guys see. Usually it's around hormone health, which is great. I love it. But obviously there's a lot of benefits, which is why a lot of times when a lot of women get like really bad cramps and then we start to pay attention to how much fats are you actually having, they start to notice, oh, I don't get that many cramps anymore. Oh, this is in the way and I don't know where to move it. Move it to the bottom. Okay. So macros and calories. So fats are more calorie dense. This is just like slight things that you probably already noticed. Why some things are like very low in terms of like numbers of calories, but they're like super high fat. Protein and carbs are the lowest in terms of calorie density. Fats are going to be the highest in terms of calorie density. So even healthy fats can make you overeat calories. Now, the issue here is that I know most of you are on a calorie deficit. This is where we think peanut butter, avocado, nuts, seeds, they don't fit my calories. And then we start to think these things, these healthy foods, I should not be having a lot of because they are very calorie dense, because they are full of fats. Now, yes and no in a sense, right? We need to make sure that one, we are still having those foods in it, but also, and I'm going to talk about this in other slides, is that we understand that when you're in a calorie deficit and you feel like you can't have the avocado and the peanut butter and all of the things that are very high in fats, understand that that's going to come back. So eventually you're going to have the opposite problem where you feel like, "Fuck, I have to hit 70, 80 grams of fats. Like, how am I supposed to do that? That's a lot. Right. So something that I've gotten is like, oh my God, Nicole, I feel like I can't have avocado. Like, is avocado bad for me? No, it's not. It's just very high in fats and it's very high in calories. That's why you really can't have it right now. But again, I emphasize the right now. So how many fats? So this is going to depend on your calories. Nothing less than 20% of your overall calories. Ideally, we want to stay at least between like 25 to 35. If I ever note, I'm not really big on paying attention to you guys like hitting your perfect amount of carbs or your perfect amount of fats, unless one of them is like significantly low. Like you're hitting like 30 grams of fats, probably not ideal. I'll probably call you out on that. Now, fats also keep you full. Cat, they're very similar to protein. So if you have a very high protein, high fat meal, you're gonna be you're gonna be full for a lot longer than if you were to have, let's say, I don't know, just carbs, like just bread or cereal, right? So the thing here is that sometimes for a lot of us, we think like more volume for fewer calories, or we think having as many carbs on my plate is going to keep us full to an extent. And this was a mistake that I made. So I just was like a carb girl. I'm still a carb girl. I could literally just have carbs all day, every single day. If carb was a protein, I would literally be like jacked because like that's all I want every single day of my life. But being that I enjoy it so much, I kind of got into if there's not a lot of carbs on my plate visually, I'm not gonna be full or I'm not gonna be satisfied. Like mentally, I was putting myself in that box, right? So if you are a carb person, especially in a calorie deficit, you're like, damn, like if I don't have carbs on my plate, or I just want to have more potatoes because I want to have more carbs or I want to have more rice rather than having that piece of avocado, rather than having peanut butter. I want to have more oats because the carbs are what's going to keep me full. I encourage you to try the opposite and see where your fullness levels are, right? So, what you're going to notice is that if you don't have a cup of rice and you still have a half of cup of rice, and you do, I don't know the exact calories, I'm just throwing things out. You do a piece of avocado, right? Similar calories, but pairing the carb and the fat is going to keep you full longer than if you were just to have the full cup of rice on your plate. Same exact thing with oats. Like just that little bit of peanut butter, you're like, damn, this is so many calories. It's still going to keep you full for longer. So good fats versus bad fats. About like bad fats, but like technically, yeah. So good fats are obviously going to be the ones that nourish your body. They support hormone, brain health, heart health. These are going to be your mono unsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. Really, just to keep it super simple, you guys kind of understand the gist, but avocado, avocado oil, canola, I'm not really a fan of. Nuts and seeds, almonds, walnuts, chia, flax. I absolutely love hemp seeds. I talk about them like every single time. Nut butters, fatty fish, eggs. Why are these good for you? So these are going to help lower your bad cholesterol and they're going to help increase your good cholesterol to an extent. They're going to support your hormone production. It's going to keep you satisfied and it's going to reduce inflammation, right? A lot of times people that are having a lot of these fats are like so inflamed. Why do I feel so bloated? This is why there's like anti-inflammatory diets. You're just eating a healthy fat and healthy whole foods diet, right? So the bad fats that we want to keep away from, trans fats, excess saturated fats, these are going to be, for the most part, you guys kind of understand fried food, processed foods, fast foods, I can never say that word, but different butters. Butters are not necessarily bad for you, but I would encourage you to also start seeing where these products are from. So when it comes to any type of like meats, when it comes to your oils, when it comes to your butters, can we go for things that are like grass fed? Right? Meat options that are going to be better quality options. They're going to be more likely falling into our good fats versus our bad fats. Now, are you gonna avoid these? Probably not. I just ordered a pastry like from the bakery 30 minutes ago. So they're going to be in your diet, but ideally, we want to keep it here. And this is where I fight with my parents because here, like in a lot of places that you go to, you can go and you can order what you think is like a pretty healthy dish, right? You look at it and you're like, oh, that's Whole Foods, that's rice with this, and that. But the question is, what are the fats? What are the oils that they are using to cook it in? That's the only problem that we see with like eating out. Eating out's not necessarily bad for you, but the difference is they're probably not going to care about putting extra virgin olive oil in your food because it's going to be more expensive. So I urge you, when you are looking for options, how can we find the best quality pastry shops, the best quality like the mom and pop pizza shops? Like, how can you go for more so quality because of the ingredients that they are using? Now, let's move on to carbs. Everyone loves them, and also everybody loves to hate them. So we're gonna understand them a little bit more today. Oh, I hate when that happens. I don't know what's wrong with my Canva. So let's clear up a couple of things today. Obviously, carbs don't make you fat. Too many calories for your body's needs is what's going to make you fat. So what is going to lead, or what is going to happen if we avoid carbs? This can lead to health issues, nervous system issues, hormonal issues, increased stress as well, which just got cut off. Carbs do hold on to more water, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So at some point, every single one of you is going to be eating more food. And when you eat more food, you're going to have more carbs. And what happens is that sometimes I get like, oh my God, Nicole, I feel so bloated. The scale went up. Like, I'm like retaining all of, like, I just don't feel as good. I don't feel as lean. I'm like, as when you were in a calorie deficit and you were like depleted of food and water. So carbs are going to hold on to more water. Buy a sponge, like a fresh new sponge, the ones that come flat, grab it, dunk it in water. That's exactly what happens when you have more fats. So more carbs. So this is normal. So when you go through your reverse, when you go through your increase phase, understand that it is 1,000,000 times normal for you to retain water. Naturally, you should be at the point where you are retaining water. However, you don't feel bloated for a long time. Eventually, your body's going to start to get used to those amount of carbs. It's going to start to utilize the amount of carbs. You're going to get used to also retaining more water, and it's not going to feel like such a shock from when you were depleted of water in a deficit. And technically, we don't need carbs as an essential nutrient. I say technically because you you're going to perform so much better with them. So you're going to have more energy, your hormones are going to be better, your muscles are going to recover better, stress levels are going to be better. But why do people survive on like the keto diet? Why do people survive on what would be like carnivore diets? Because technically they are not essential. But for the most part, all of us love them. So I think that's enough to make them essential. Rules for your carbs. So we have hormonal health. This is also going to boost muscle growth. So carbs are very similar to protein. They don't do as well of a job as protein in terms of muscle recovery, but they also will help if there's not enough protein, your carbs are going to pick up the slack. Now, I don't say that being like, oh, I don't have to hit my protein goal, then I can hit my carb goals. Probably not as effective, but they are still helping with recovery. They're also going to be our main fuel source for performance in the gym. Number 3, reduces stress levels. So this is where I personally notice it the most. So when you have a spike of cortisol, right? When we have carbs, your body is, well, when you're in a stress state, I'll say that instead of cortisol. When you're in a stress state, when you have carbs, your body comes down from that stress state. So when do we want to use carbs to bring our body down from that stress state? 1, in the morning. When you wake up, your stress levels spike. It's normal. You were just in the most peaceful state that you could possibly be in, and now you have to be awake and like do life, right? So if you have carbs in the morning, you're going to feel better, right? Another thing is after workouts. Your body is extremely stressed, so stressed after workouts. I know you're like, working out is such a stress relief and it feels so good mentally. Yeah, technically, but what's actually happening inside your body is stress. So when you have carbs after, you're going to feel much better. Nutrients, right? We get our fiber, sodium, potassium, magnesium, vitamin C, calcium, all of the good things. They taste amazing and they are a big role in social eating. And I think those last two, realistically, are why we need to continue to build a good relationship with carbs, not limit them, know when to use them, know how to use them, know how to use them for maintenance, know how to use them for fat loss, like know how to use them as a tool, but still, because social life is such a important part of our everyday life, we need to make sure that we're not limiting them. This would be, I would say, like the most important part of the carbs is understanding the timing of carbs. So pre-workout, this is going to provide your body with energy. They are usually easy to digest and won't affect training. What I would recommend here in terms of timing and pre-workout. So you hopefully you guys haven't made this mistake, but there are meals that you should never have pre-workouts, like vegetables. You shouldn't have like a full nutrient dense meal because you're gonna feel super, super sluggish. So before workouts, we should have like those very simple carbs. Rice is cool, oats are cool, fruit is cool, something that is just going to very quickly digest. You're not gonna really notice it's there and you're gonna get your energy from. All right. Oops. The second thing is post-workout carbs. This is where I mentioned as well. This is very important because your body is in this stress state. You just did a lot. You just broke down your muscles. You just ripped them to shreds. Now carbs are going to come in to bring you down from that stress state. Morning carbs. Just mentioned that as well. Bring your cortisol levels, fuel your body, and fuel the cravings for the day. And midday carbs. So these are okay. But if you're on a low carb diet right now, if you're in a calorie deficit, your carbs are probably low in general, so you can't have a ton of them. Eventually, when your calories are higher, I would explore midday carbs for you. Because if you have too many carbs midday, you're going to get an energy crash. This is why, like, if you have a bowl of pasta for lunch, when you get back to work, you're gonna be like, why am I so tired? So I've personally noticed that I cannot have a lot of rice midday. Rice bowls do not work for me. They work really well for me at night because if I have rice midday, I'm going to want to take a nap. So pay attention to the type of carbs and how many carbs you should have midday. And then evening carbs. These are the best place to put your carbs. Technically, I always say in the morning and in the evening are the best place, but obviously you want to distribute them evenly. So because carbs do such a great job at bringing our stress levels down, when you have them at night, what is going to happen? Your body's going to get tired. All right. So all of my like really high carb meals, if I have whatever high carb meal that I like really want, I'm gonna put that at the end of my day because if I have it in the morning, I'm not gonna want to do anything for the rest of the day. I don't know if you guys have seen like Colombians do this thing with like this chocolate and you just put all the breads in it. Like I've posted on my story, a lot of bread, a lot of cheese in like this little hot chocolate thing. Always I have it at night and I always said like I refuse to have that unless I work out. If I work out really hard, I can have it. But a couple weeks ago, Maria and I didn't go to the gym. We're like, oh, we should get it. Like, we should just go. We should just, let's just try it. Oh my God, I wanted to take a nap at like 9 a.m. As soon as I finished it, I'm like, I can't believe I have to work right now. Everything that I know about what carbs would do to me is happening to me right now. So again, just pay attention to it a little bit. All right, complex carbs versus simple carbs. We know the obvious, the good, and I put in quotes, the not so great. So we have our complex carbs, which are our more whole foods carbs, and then we have simple carbs, which are more processed carbs. But it goes a little bit further than that. So I would urge you to just understand this as well. Why is this important? This is very, very, very good in terms of understanding what carbs are the best for you when it comes to being on a deficit versus not being on a deficit. So complex carbs are going to be the carbs, and I'll put this here. I'll kind of go back. Oops. So complex carbs here, these are going to keep you more full than this one, right? if you have a bowl of oatmeal, you're going to be full for longer than if you have a donut. That's more of the obvious. But it can also go into like the whole foods. There are carbs that are a little bit more complex than others. So technically, if you are struggling with like your hunger, brown rice is going to keep you full longer than white rice. Steel cut oats are going to keep you more full for longer than quick oats. Apples are going to keep you more full than bananas. Multi-grain bread is going to keep you more full than white bread. So when I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm probably going to feel most of my carbs with like very, very, very intentional carbs because I'm going to be hungry anyways, right? If you would like to look it up, it's a motorcycle outside, sorry. If you would like to look it up, there is a full scale of this, of a satiety scale in terms of, you can even look this up for just your carbs. So this is where I mentioned like, when I'm in a deficit, I'm probably not gonna have like rice. Where's white rice? No, it's not on here. So like, I'm probably not gonna have a lot of rice because it's not gonna keep me as full as if I have potatoes. So it's a very simple thing. Like if you're looking for something to hold you down, can you go for something that is more complex? Potatoes, right? Can you go for oatmeal? Can you go for apples? These things are going to keep you full for longer. And if you need to bring your carbs down, we're going for complex carbs. We're going for lower calorie, similar volume carbs. What that means is if you go to the grocery store and there's like a low carb wrap and there's a regular carb wrap and they're both the same size, you're going to get the low carb option just because you need to keep your carbs down, right? More salads, keeping protein high, timing your carbs. And then if you need to have more carbs, this I find is the more difficult part. We're going to do the opposite of that. So we're going to go to the grocery store and we're going to get the carb option that is the wrap that is the higher carb option. So I explain this as like, sourdough is probably not a bread that I'm going to have in a deficit, but it's going to be a bread that I'm going to have at maintenance, right? Start to think about this because I know most of you don't struggle with the decrease of calories. Most of you struggle with the increase of calories. And for anybody that hasn't gotten the increase of calories, that you're like, I'm not going to struggle with increasing my calories. That's going to be the most exciting things. I'm going to remember that you said that because 98% of you will struggle with the increase of calories. Now, this is where we need to start understanding it. It's not necessarily that the carbs that you're having or the foods that you're going to have at an increased calories are going to be so massive because all of you will probably try that and you're going to realize like, whoa, that's just way too much food on my plate. What happens now when there's way too much food on my plate? So many low calorie options, the higher calorie carbs come in and the fats come in. So a mistake that I made is like, cool, I need to eat more calories. Put more mashed potatoes, put more potatoes on. No, I need to have a similar amount, but now I need to put some fats on it. So I was doing like ghee, right? And I noticed, wow, I'm full. I'm so satiated after, and this tasted amazing. So just kind of like reframing. So just a little bit, if you want to screenshot this, you can, but this is just a little bit of a recap in terms of that. Pretty simple. Again, kind of just take one thing to pay attention to, like how can we start to incorporate more fats in your diet? That's where I would start, and that's where I always would start when increasing your calories. Nuts, seeds, avocados, all of the things that you weren't necessarily having. These things have a lot of nutrients. Deficit nutrients not necessarily tied in the same because we can't have a lot of nutrients because you are restricting your calories. That is kind of like the obvious. But how can we start to have more diversity in your fats? Get avocado, get some different chia seeds, do some walnuts, do some flax seeds. I'm doing like Brazil nuts every single day. Those are really good as well. And then when it comes to your carbs, I think the most important thing there, especially when you are increasing them, is understanding where you can place them, most importantly, so that you don't get energy crashes. And something that I'm trying to implement that I'm actually not really good at is intra workout carbs. I'm not really Ideally, I would want to eat something before the gym, but eating at 6 a.m. or 5:30 sounds horrible to me and it's really difficult. So if you are at the point where we've increased your calories X amount and we need to increase them more, having carbs during your workouts is really good as well, which is something that I will be implementing at some point. And Yeah, that is pretty much it. Oh, this is the complex versus simple carbs. And remember that food is love and that strength is power. Do we have any questions? Which is a little nerdy talk. So, what carbs would you suggest before a workout? So before a workout, this is going to depend on you, and what time you're working out. I think that's the most important thing. I would suggest anything that's not going to sit heavy for you and anything that's going to be pretty like quick to absorb. What that means is like I'm on a different side of like the algorithm than you guys, but like I don't know if you guys saw when like Rice Krispies before a workout were like a big thing, or like gummy bears, or some people do like Sour Patch, whatever. Those are just like really quick carbs that go into your systems for energy. So oatmeal is cool. Pretzels. I love pretzels before workouts. Um, rice, bread. What else? I guess technically like pasta. Yeah, something that's super simple. We don't want a lot of fats before your diet. You don't want a lot of veggies before your diet. Technically, veggies are carbs, so that's why I kind of put that into there. Mikao, yeah. After seeing the timing side, what do you suggest for timing your fats? Um, I would say for timing your fats, you don't have to pay as much attention to because you're not necessarily going to feel that energy crash as much. And your fats aren't as abundant as your carbs in your day. Where I would, I guess, not time your fats is maybe before a workout, depending on what you're having. I don't know. I'm not like trying to think of what I would have. Yeah, like I guess in terms of timing your fats, I would consider more of like timing your carbs over your fats and then just like evenly distribute your carbs throughout the day. This call made me hungry. Sorry. I like sprouted grain bread before pre-workout. I like that. Oh, actually, I've been doing some, I don't even know what they are. They're like energy ball things. I guess they are fats in there because I've been really struggling to get my calories in, but I feel like I always say that every single day of my life. So things that are like very energy dense, a lot of seeds. I'm having a lot of seeds right now. I'm not eating before workouts at 5 a.m. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, like especially because your calories are not super abundant right now. I wouldn't really worry about that. I would focus more on like fueling after the workout. I really never eat pre-workout on a deficit. I'll fast, and you probably notice you're probably not. Or do you get hungry during your workouts? Like, do you feel like you run out of fuel? No. Okay, then you're fine. Yeah. I can't imagine eating at 4:30, but again, I know people do. So it's up to you. It depends how it works for you. If you do end up having, let's say we increase your calories and you're like, where do I put these calories? Should I be having something to fuel my workout? Yes, that would help, but then we'd have to like explore what sits well with you. Um, my body is very stubborn and things don't really sit well with me pre-workout, so I've been testing a lot. Cool. Another thing is like juices. So that's something that I want to do now, like cherry juice. I want to do during my workouts, or like I've done Gatorades before. I just want to have like a better option now, but that's just carbs. Like juices are just carbs. So like if you feel like, oh, I don't want to eat before my workout, but I need some type of carb source, I need energy, juices are really good. And those are ones that I've kind of gotten into over the past yeah, like couple years. Any other questions? Or anything unrelated to today. Today was a nerdy call. I like my mindset calls. Those get me really hyped and excited. But these are necessary, so how's everybody doing with their mindset work? Good? Nice.
I just want to say that that little Finch app that you recommended has like changed my life.
I love that.
It's just so much fun feeding that little bird and like adding in the goals, and it's very cute. And for me, like that makes it better. I like to gamify everything. I'm one of those people. So that was very helpful.
Yes, I'm so happy. I am like obsessed with that thing. I feel like it just feels like I feel like I'm nurturing my inner child. and I like
Yes.
putting all the habits. I have like a ton of habits on there. I'm like, yes, I should celebrate brushing my teeth and washing my face. I'm
Yes.
like, chick, 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 and then I go and buy a bed for my freaking Halloween theme right now. Love it.
Oh, yes. All the little themes. Oh my God. I love it. I love it so
Yeah,
much. It's like right up my alley. So
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. I got you. I'm happy that it worked. Jasmine's using Finch too. Like, how about post-workout food? I'm trying with the mindfulness exercise. Okay, so nutrient timing. I think we have a lesson that really goes into this. Again, I think deficit eating, non-deficit eating are very different because deficit eating, I understand like you don't have a lot to work with. So if you are working out in the morning, carbs after 100%. If you are working out at like midday-ish, lunchtime, like quick carb, and then like having a lunch right after. If you're working out after like around 4 to 6, I think that's the hardest time to work out. And that's when you're not going to have a lot of fuel because you're almost fueling your entire day. And then you have this workout, but then you're like, I don't want to run out of calories for the end of the day and not have anything for dinner. So in that case, if like that's your workout, what I would do is post workout, I actually don't have a lot of carbs. Me personally, because I need to have carbs during my day, or if not, I feel like I'm starving all day. So I'd rather work out, have like carbs before my workout, and then after my workout, just bite the bullet and then go to sleep. So I think it just kind of depends. But in terms of post-workout food, you're already worked out. So like it doesn't really matter too much if it's has vegetables in it. Ideally, we want to go for your protein, your carbs, your veggies, like the kind of full meal. That answers your question. Or if you have like more, if you want to talk about you particularly, Grace, let me know. All right, are we good? Cool. Let me know if you guys have any questions. More questions. Oh, go ahead. I just saw you unmute yourself.
I was just gonna ask, is anybody else using the Insight Timer app for experience with meditation? Only because they keep referencing I'm on like a 7 day program or whatever, and she keeps referencing stiff back, soft front, and I honestly just don't know what it means in my body.
Maria, is that the one that we use?
Yeah, it's the one that we use. What was it that they said?
She keeps saying stiff back, soft, or like stiff spine, soft front, or something like that, and I'm not quite sure what it means.
Um,
I have no idea. I would assume like keep your posture straight, but like keep your body like relaxed. That's like an oxymoron, but I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say because like my hypnotherapist, she'll say like I like to keep my spine straight, but my she talks a lot about forehead relaxed, like keeping my
Okay.
face relaxed. But I've never heard of like soft front. I just pay attention to my face and my head to see if that works.
Okay. I'm quite literal, so I'm like, I really don't know what this means. And then I think about that most of the time. I spend most of the meditation thinking that I'm thinking about my body. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm working on it. It's going great.
That's good. Meditation is hard. I'm like, I'm always like, fuck. I, I'm like on a different thought right now, and I have to bring myself back. But the forehead thing, like relaxing my face, has really helped. So maybe you could play with that and see how it feels tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks.
Got you. Anybody else before I let you guys go? If you do have questions on your particular meal timing and carb timing, there's so many ways to go about it. We can talk about your foods. We can look at your meals on a day to day. We can help you build that out a little bit more. And also remember that that's going to change at every single calorie range. So it'll be a work in progress. But again, that's why you're here and we'll help you with that. Talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.